So, what happened weeks ago?
I am happy to read the notes. We are spinning in hyperspace, and the ship drops out. There is a ton of shit fucked with the ship. We start fixing it, or trying. Some wins and some less wins, but it all gets sorted. On the Holo News, the surgeon the surgeon disabled both Mother and the Imperial cruiser and then runs away. We decide to set up a syndicate. Baron has a job for us on Mos Espa. We are going to grab the credits and then think about fixing the ship. Remux gets ISAR to search the data for patient 98 info. He is badass. 3 days to Mos Espa, and Remux opens up to Lynn about his past. Lynn tells Remux about her past too. Baron meets us and offers to help with ship repairs. Then takes Trey, Remux, Kira, and Lynn. I can't read if that's takes or not, but hopefully it is. Baron says he bought the land from the hut. Oh yes, he asked us to reclaim some land. He says that he bought the land legally from the huts. There's a plate called Fort Tuscan, and we need to go and clear it out. We agree. Kira heads off to buy a speeder from Speeder, and Speeder. And Kira buys a speeder and 3 bikes. I remember there being some back and forth there that I didn't record, but Oren checks his back channels, and there's loads of surgeon news. Kira, Remux, Click-Clack, and Professor Thaddeus go. 3 days of travel. The fort is made of concrete. I don't know why that is relevant. It is. Oh, we have to go up a spire, which is about 100 feet in the air. We notice the doors are broken open. There is a mess. Nothing of worth is taken. A body has its head carved in by a blunt object. Professor Thaddeus and Kira go to install the new comms to report in. While they are gone, Remix and Click-Clack investigate the fort. Remix senses anger in a room. We call back and Baron asks us to find who done it and to fix the gate. Remix and Click-Clack find a secret passage near a fireplace. It spirals down inside the spire, then opens in a big cave. We hear a noise in the tunnel and head down there. It is a Tuscan. Remux feels a deep connection to this place. The people drink a tonic. Professor Thaddeus does not. And they, all the Tuscans, as they do, and things get trippy. These are the dreams. Kira is older, being praised for racing the switches? Sure, the switches. And then it switches. That makes more sense. And then it switches to her being old and dejected. Remux sees a fight, red and purple sabers. Remux strikes them down and then rules over many. Black sees a trophy room with awesome trophies, and then it swaps to him being part of the hive again. The Tuscans leave, and the others, other than Professor Thaddeus, wake up. We return and suspect a third party. Professor Thaddeus and Click-Clack fix the gate. Remux and Kira go for a recon mission. They swoop around the whole area but find nothing. They find a survey document and do a reverse sweep. We stay for 2 days and make a noise in an attempt to get attacked, but nothing happens. That is where the notes end. Why does it feel like that's not what ended in the thing? I may have stopped taking notes.
That was the end.
Okay.
Great summary. I've got that Fort Tuscan is in Hell's Teeth Canyon.
Oh, nice.
And that's it. That's the only thing I've got that you did.
Thank you. I will not be taking notes tonight. Just a heads up, so if someone can just jot down a few things. At least if we're playing regularly, then it won't be too bad. But I just can't write from this position.
So you were
I
saying,
remember.
go on, Richard, sorry.
I remember feeling like I'd run out of ideas personally how to investigate this.
Yes. Ross, as a player, also feels like he had run out of ideas. Dan, is there anything we missed you want to add in?
I watched back most of the video again today, and I don't think you missed anything. Other than Spanners, there was a few bits.
Oh.
Spanners is fixing the ship with the mechanic in order to try and reduce costs. The Baron's credits were no good at speeders, so you had to pay for them personally, of which Click Clack paid 600 credits, I believe, for the bikes. Lynn paid 400 credits for the speeder. You took 2 speeders and a sand skiff here, just in case you needed to bring people back. You replaced the comm unit. Remix felt a malevolent presence guiding them to the secret tunnel down into the cave system. There was some questions last week about the doors of the fort, which had been forced open, but not the force, inwards.
There were crystals in the cave downstairs, right?
There was crystals
and
which were causing the lights down there.
We don't know if that's what he wanted to mine. I think that was where the only leftover bit that I had, that thread that I wanted to chase down, is we don't know if he's mining down there and that's what got him attacked. He bought this as a mining operation, right? Or an outpost for a mining operation. So Thaddeus will come.
Was he a bit like, oh, I got these coordinates from a friend about a lucrative mining opportunity or something like that? Was he a bit like, a bit sketchy about it? Not sketchy, but
he'd said he'd received a tip that it was going to be some fruitful mining operation or mining opportunity in this area, and therefore went and bought the land from the huts in order to do this mining. And then he sent the survey teams to Fort Tuscan, which happened to be on the land, in order to do the surveying, and they disappeared, which is why he sent you.
Also the malevolent feeling disappeared once we'd gone down, hadn't it? When we come back up, it was all gravy up there.
Mm-hmm.
Did we ever go down a second time to find the Tuscans? But after the stoning happened, we tried to follow them, didn't we? Oh, and then someone did an insight check or something and said it would be a bad idea.
That's right. You said about following them and offering them a gift, but all of the gifts you had happened to be weapons and nothing of non-aggressive nature, if that makes sense. So it was incited that it probably was a bad idea to follow them into the tunnels trying to bear a weapon to give them.
Yeah, makes sense. So I guess the question for us as a party is whether we do have any more ideas for avenues of exploration, or whether we go back and say, we did what you asked us to do, here's what happened, deal with it, bye.
But if we blame the Tuscans, then he's going to come out here and he's going to start a war.
Mm-hmm.
And
we don't know it was the Tuscans.
I thought we had agreed it wasn't the Tux.
Yeah.
We're inferring that it might have been Tuscans. We found a Tuscan holy ground underneath, but that's not necessarily who perpetrated the attack on the place. Also, really shit fault, by the way. Fort Tuscan, front doors are blown straight in. So we could try and continue the mining survey and see if it perpetrates another attack, or we can just go back and go, yo, this is what we found out. Pay us some money, see you later. We have completed the... We haven't completed the job we were contracted to do. We were contracted to find out who attacked them. We haven't done that.
Yeah, we don't think it was the Tuscans, though. I think there was something about that investigation, right? We saw the one skull was caved in and made to look like a Tuscan weapon.
So wasn't there claws? Wasn't somebody's like eviscerated, like it was a monster, which isn't the style of Tuscan? That was the thing, right?
Can we go and do some more checking?
Yes.
Sure.
Let's go into the roleplay. So you said you're spending 2 days at the fort, or roughly 2 days at the fort, making noise, making yourself busy, tidying up, whatnot. So let's say you're doing this.
Definitely not tidying up.
Well, you don't want dead bodies everywhere where you're sleeping, right?
Okay, we tidy up one room.
We make a bed of the dead bodies for Click to sleep on.
So while you're sorting out the bodies into a body pile for sleeping purposes,
into beautiful, respectful graves.
Yes, leaving entrails behind. You can do medicine or ear or perception checks or insight checks on the bodies to see if there were any. You know that the majority of them look like they were killed by blunt objects. That's what you found out before.
Who's here? Remix. Maybe Remix could make a melee check using his knowledge of melee to see if it really was made by a Tuscan weapon or not. Because I've got shit, basically.
Yeah, I can do that. So, Dan, am I misremembering about there being an eviscerated body?
No, there was a little bit of discussion around that, but the response to what you did before was, I want to check to see if the body had been stabbed, clawed, whatever, and the answer was that they'd been bludgeoned, that particular one. So,
right.
So no, you're not misremembering, it was just what you found.
Okay, then I would like to do that as we are clearing up the bodies, respectfully dealing with the bodies. I am going to make a melee check, see if I can identify specifically what weapon it was. Whether it's a gaffy stick, if that's what they're called, or whether it was something else. Can I do that?
Yes, sir.
Excellent. What difficulty would you like?
I'm going to go for hard with a black, please, because of decomposing bodies.
That's fair enough. So it's that 3 purple.
3 purple, 1 black.
Yes!
Okay. Fine. You're moving
Can
the
someone,
bodies.
sorry, just quickly, can someone drop me the link to the roller in the chat, please? Sorry.
I don't want you guys to do that. So as you're moving bodies, Remix, you're looking at them going, They all have got caved-in heads. All of them have got caved-in heads. However, because their bodies are starting to decompose, maybe some of the clothing falls away while you're moving them, you actually start to see other wounds, this is very clearly a stab wound. And you see that on most of them. And you can determine from the way that it's been done, they've tried to hide it kind of, like, for example, they've tried to go in under the ribs, like to try and disguise it, under the arm and things. And you deduce that the bludgeoning happened post-death.
Yes, that's a really crucial bit of information, that is.
Post what's really?
Posthumously.
Yeah. Your threats, though, you can't work out what type of weapon this is that's been used. You'd think it'd be like some form of knife, but you can't quite establish it. And maybe you get a little bit of decomposing flesh on your hands, which is never nice. Oh, one of them passes wind. Have a Constitution saving throw.
That's a joke, right? It's just a joke. Remix will convey that to the others and say, I think there's been a cover up here. Whoever did this wanted us to think it's the Tuscans, but it clearly wasn't.
Would we call this evidence conclusive?
No. Personally, I wouldn't.
We need to find more conclusive evidence then.
Yes, Professor Thaddeus, I agree.
All right, off you go.
You can go and scour the desert for more evidence while we go back to town.
I wonder if the ship is fixed and whether we could invite the rest of the crew over. They could fly the ship to Pilford Parrot here. We could get some extra expertise, do a flyover, see what we can find.
Wasn't there a reason we couldn't fly a ship here? No,
Your
no,
ship-
we just decided to take the lazy way.
Your ship wasn't going to make it. It needed dire repairs.
There's no reason we couldn't fly a ship here. There was a reason we couldn't fly our ship here.
So we wasted 3 days doing the travel because we didn't fly a ship. God.
We could have done it in proper Star Wars style and walked, because apparently that's a thing people do.
Yeah, that's true.
Remix didn't waste his time. He had pina coladas and chilled out on the soundscape.
Yeah. So we could do that, couldn't we? Have a flyover and also invite some of the other crew members who might have the skills that we need. I think iStar might be able to do some drone work, you know. Perhaps.
I think that's a great idea.
Did we get
Let's
them to
call
bring
them.
another survey team and we can just play security?
Yeah, nice.
Ooh, we could possibly negotiate a new deal with the Baron.
We could unravel this thread a little longer if you wanted and tell him that it's on a Tuscan ancestral site, etc., etc. Or we could just get paid and leave.
I feel like after all the bad that the surgeon has done, and the way Spanners and Lynn have really seemed to take that quite hard, they probably want to do some good in the world.
Well, does it have to be this world?
Possibly not. I really don't give a shit. I mean, we could always lie to Spanners and Lynn, you know, and just tell them that everything is good, get paid and leave, and they'll be none the wiser.
I think we should do good here.
Remix, how do you feel?
I have rarely felt such a connection to the Force as I have felt here. And it makes me feel invested in this place. I would be keen to investigate further.
All right, then. I think it's settled. Shall we get on the...
Samaritan it is, then.
Say again, Nick?
Playing Samaritan it is, then.
That's what I thought you said. Shall we get on the comms unit and give them a buzz?
Oh yeah, we could comms them rather than going all the way back.
Travel 3 days back.
This is the story. This is my players. Okay. Excuse me. So you're going to contact Baron via the radio?
Spanners.
Okay.
Spanners. Hello, Spanners. Spanners. Are you there, Spanners?
Oh, hello, Professor Thaddeus. How goes it out there?
I do not have a clear answer to that question right now.
Oh.
Some good, some bad, I guess, is the way that people would surmise it.
I see.
How goes the ship repairs?
How goes the ship repairs then? Is it ready?
There's a lot of work being completed on the ship, and Spanners truly believes that it would be ready to fly. However, the bill hasn't been settled, and Baron has it firmly clamped in the
Grubby paws of nobility.
yeah, he has it locked. I imagine like the Millennium Falcon, like boot clamp or whatever it is, in the hangar. But the ship is ready to, as far as Spanners is concerned, ready to make flight.
She's ready to fly again, but there's a small matter of paying for the work that has been done. It currently hasn't been paid for, and it's clamped in the dock.
Let's see. Just a clarity check. Did we, when Baron sent us out there, did he send us to solve the problem or just find out what had happened to them?
Find out what happened to the survey team.
And when we called him again,
Mm-hmm.
and did he say anything about solving the problem or like fixing the problem or just find out?
He said if you could find out, then that would be great. So he could get that person to compensate him. But please fix the entry system. Specifically use the word entry system. Words.
Which we haven't done. We fixed the door, but...
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool.
You fixed the door.
None of us mechanics. It was put back together. Repaired is a loose term.
So, I feel like what we should do then, Spanners, could you convey this, please, to Lynn and the others? And I will tell Spanners what's been going on here. And then the suggested course of action that I propose is get someone to go and negotiate with the Baron for an additional contract and additional fee. Our work is complete. We have identified everything. We've sorted things out. We could use ISOT's help in fixing the entry system completely. That would be great. And your help, actually, mechanically getting everything back into shipshape would be great. Then we could completely say we have achieved the Baron's objectives. But I think that this should be sufficient for him to release our vehicle and our ship. And you should be able to come and join us. And if Lynn could negotiate further steps about investigating the supposed shenanigans with the murders of the crew, and we could run security for a little while and actually solve this problem for him, then more money for us.
Thank you for the report, Thaddeus. I shall speak with the others and get back to you shortly. Okay, what?
Thank you.
Over. Sanders conveys that to Lynn and all of the others. He calls a little meeting and tells all of the rest of the party members what the professor said. Are we now going to cut to Lynn talking to the Baron? It would need to be Lynn because Spanners isn't really Mr. Negotiator.
Is Spanners going?
Oh yeah, he'll go. Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
So you walk in and present this to Baron? Do you want to actually present it, or you just want to cut to the...
Any objections to just cutting through it?
You present a very good case, Lynn. Very, very good. But the answer is no. Your contract, or the contract I put in place, was to go to Fort Tuscan, find out what happened to the survey team. I've got more work, you see. That was the original arrangement. Sorry, Spanners, just a second. We had an arrangement. This job, then you got access to more work. Do you remember that agreement? Yeah. Well, I got more work that is more pressing than sending out another survey team. So if you could get your chaps to come back and I'll settle up with you right now, the agreed price, then we'll go from there. So I agreed 6,500 credits. No, Lynn, I don't need you to do any more work out there.
Yeah, but I was just saying, if we could settle up, we could go and pick them up with our ship, and that would actually be a lot quicker. So depending on what the next lot of work is, we might just collect them on the way.
Let me settle up and I'll tell you about the new jobs. So,
Oh, good.
got here on my ticket from the mechanic that we had 6,500 credits owed to you as a collective party for doing the survey work. However, I am having to deduct 1,500 credits for external repairs to the ship. Another 1,500 credits to repair the hyperdrive that was broken. 500 credits.
Spanners, just double check these numbers as we're going through, please. Make sure they seem reasonable.
These are the numbers that I gave you on the ship repair thing. 500.
Do we not get a reduction because Spanners helped?
Now, Lynn, now will you let me finish the list, please?
Oh, sorry. Please continue.
500 credits for fuel. 750 credits for engine repairs because you were missing one engine. 500 credits for ship fluids. And 300 credits to restock the pantry. That was at a special request of Dr. Lemmet Beige.
Bastard.
A total of 5,050 credits needs to be coming out of the 6,500 with you. But I'm a fair man, and Spanners over here used his mighty limbs to assist. So I'll call it 4,500 credits. And here, only ching on the table, is your 2,000.
Thank you.
So we're concluded on that contract?
One further question. Does it strike you as strange that your survey team was killed in this fashion?
No. To be honest with you, Lynn, I've already moved on from that point. And I understand it's not the Tuscans because you guys have told me, so it must be the Huts, and I'm unfortunately going to have to go deal with them direct. But that's not a job.
But you're not going to go murder the Tuscans, are you?
Not at all. I'm going to actually trying to find a way to work with them.
Oh, by the side, I like it. Okay, you're going to try and work with them. That sounds good. Sorry, go.
I was going to say an insight check, but Spanners isn't invested in this to really probe that response. It's the other guys who are invested in that, so he would really be diligently trying to work that out.
So we're concluded then. That contract's completed. Everybody's here. Shake hands.
Yep, sure.
So now I'm your official Infochant, giving you jobs, and I might, we'll negotiate the cut and the rate, of course. But I got 3 pieces of work for you.
Hang on a second. We are not trading the surgeon for another person. Just to be clear, we're our own outfit.
Yes, of course.
We will select our jobs, and we will do it for us.
I take a cut for, arranging the necessaries and presenting you with this information so that you can go and make money, of course.
Sure, just be careful, because if your cut's too high, we might go find jobs elsewhere.
Well, how about we listen to the jobs and then we can argue about that afterwards.
Oh, sounds like you got something juicy there. You're just dying to spill. Isn't that so?
3 types of work for you. 1,
lovely.
Urgent. Well, I say urgent. It's got a timestamp on it. I've got a tip on a research vessel out in the deep space. It's gone dark after a distress call. The authorities don't seem to have taken notice so far, but there could be some juicy salvage for us all in it. The ship's called the Swan Diver. It's a very large it's a very large docking station. So there should be plenty of spoils on all of its different levels. Can't tell you much more than that, but I can either hire you for 4,000 credits to go and get as much loot as you can, or we can take 25% of the haul. I'll take 25% as a cut. Finder's fee and a seller's fee. I've got another job. Some of my sources
and a seller's fee, so that's included
in that 25%.
Ooh, that's reasonable, Baron.
Yes, well, I am a reasonable man, Apart from that Dr. Beige's stock list, it was very strange. My sources have also found out that there is a skimming ring happening on the intergalactic pod racing circuit, and well, I want in on that. You'd need to get into the sub-mainframe of the actual race in order to hack the remote system to allow us to skim effectively. You'd have to go onto Planet Under the Skies or go to the mainframe in the core systems. You can have 25% of the passive income, or you can be paid 6,000 credits. But if you actually go and do the race and win, I might sponsor you too. Or the third work, local job this one. Some of Imp Boys have set up on Mos Eisley. They made a deal with Jabba after the whole Transdotion incident. They, however, have taken to extorting the locals, and some of these are my businesses, owned by me, not directly, of course. And I could do with them not interfering and, well, disappear, if you get my drift. But it needs to look like they were up to no good, not the other way around. That one's negotiable.
So specifically with this other Imp Boys thing, right? They're a gang that's moved in, and they need to be dealt with in any way, shape, or form, about choosing, as long as they stop harassing your businesses.
Imp Boys, I mean Imperials.
Oh, okay, got it.
Just for clarity.
Yeah, that's a little bit different. Okay, I see. But the idea is to stop them harassing your businesses, correct?
Well, however you do that, it's your choice, Lynn.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the work I got for you. I'd suggest you, well, now we're settled up, you can launch your ship. So I suggest, maybe meet up with the rest of your crew and pick your work. But these are on a time limit. I'm sure there'll be new work coming in soon.
If we pick one, will the others have lapsed?
Depends how long that job takes.
Okay.
Some of them might escalate.
The urgent one certainly will, yeah.
So out of character, number one, I would say it's got a time limit on it. Number two, there's pod races going on in the galaxy all over the time, so I think that one would be fine to leave it. And the Imp Boys are causing trouble for him, but I guess that could only escalate or de-escalate depending on their actions.
Could I get your comlink details? Just... Do I have your comlink details? I think I have them. Okay, never mind. I'll hit you back in about an hour or so once we've picked up our buddies.
Oh, of course. Don't take too long, Lynn. Oh, 1 second. Beep, beep, beep. Puts a code into his data pad, and from outside you hear a large hiss, and you can see the boot fall off his ship. I hope she flies well. No, everyone's frozen.
Hey, available to you? Or know where I can get one?
I'm sorry, it froze. I didn't hear what you said.
One question. I don't suppose you've got an advanced targeting array knocking about, have you? Or know where I can get one?
Oh, of course. Of course I don't, Spanner. I don't know about these things. Ask the ship right outside.
Oh, well. Thank you.
All right, off we go then.
Yes, see you soon. Speak to you shortly.
Bye. Yeah. Lynn will reach out to the other guys get a group call going with everyone so we can discuss what these potential opportunities, if we should take them, and what we think we should do.
Yeah. New phone, who dis?
I suppose
never in all my professional life have I been surrounded by so many motherfucking arseholes that I want to kill, but can't. Oh, hi, Dr. Limit Page.
Hello, Trasek. I thought we were friends. Why am I on this call? Have we come for some wisdom?
Oh, yeah. You're not part of this group.
Oh. Just see a sound guy in the camera in the kitchen stacking his boxes. Balls.
We are going to have to charge him that £300 for 300 credits for stocking the pantry. Like that's definitely like going on his tab.
I mean, you know, to be fair, we should probably check what the goods are because they might be sundries that we do need anyway, and we'll just surcharge him all these little luxuries on top.
That's very fair. A little
So
too
250 credits probably by the sounds of it.
An admin question. So the sum total of the repairs against the contract is that we're getting 2,000 credits coming to us.
Correct.
Now, do we want to split that, or do we want to put that in the Pilfered Parrots credit pot? Yeah?
I would say in the pot. Andrew, you good with that?
Yeah. Lots of money in the pot.
Oh,
We can stir it with laser rays.
Nice.
Got loads of money. So how goes the group call?
Oh yes.
You're on mute.
God damn it.
No. Somebody's on mute. It's how these group calls go.
Oh.
Do we want to role play the group call or just have an in-person? Oh, Dan wants us to role play it. Okay.
Make sure you do all your different voices as well.
I have a question that I have that I can perfectly place into the mouthpiece of one of my characters. Remix will say, "What's a skimming ring?"
well, you see, when a man and a woman like each other very much, I've heard.
Just don't ask him about the docking. You know. So Remix, a skimming ring is where basically there are a bunch of criminals and they take some money off the top of the pod races. So highly illegal, very common, but they just, make sure they grease their palms and that type of thing.
Oh, I see.
And Baron wants in on it.
Thank you.
You're speaks up and says he would like to be part of the racing, but if we could get into the racing, not too phased about the skimming, but definitely the racing.
Oh, me too. If we can retrieve my pod racer back from the previous planet, then we could have something to add to it.
I've given you plenty of parts, spinners. Maybe you could make another one out of some bikes.
Oh, but I loved my hammer.
Is that what you called it?
Yes, Spanner's hammer.
Banner's hammer?
Yes. Probably sitting impounded somewhere.
How long would it take you to build another one?
It took me ages to make the hammer.
Okay, so we need to retrieve the hammer.
So all we need to do is go back to a now Imperial controlled station town and liberate a pod racer.
Yes, that's it.
I do feel like the urgent one could be quite lucrative for us, darlings. You see, the Baron has a very reasonable 25% of that, which is, I mean, if it comes to nothing and there isn't much salvage, then he gets nothing. And that's okay. It just costs us the fuel to get there. Also, the clock is ticking on this one. And personally, option number 3 is an absolute no-no for me. I am done with Imperials for a while. They're tracking our shit, and I don't want to go anywhere near them for a bit.
Yeah. Yes. A rogue space station gone dark. That sounds like a fun time. Not.
The thing about that one is we're likely to engage in some ship-to-ship combat, if you ask me. If there's a station that sent a distress signal and it's adrift out there, I'm sure that we're likely to encounter hostile other ships. Hence, I think we should upgrade our pilfered parrot to be able to handle itself in a fight. And I posit that we should purchase an advanced targeting array for the ship.
Had it sent a distress call or had it just gone dark?
It sent a distress call and then went dark.
What did the distress call say? Did it just say, I am distressed? Or did it say, like, we're getting fucked up by pirates? Help.
No, he didn't tell you. He just said a distress call.
Call him back.
He didn't tell us, or the distress call didn't tell us?
He didn't tell you. But it was just a call for help.
Okay. But they didn't say what they needed help with.
No.
Like, help, the plumbing's broken.
Yeah. And everyone drowns.
Okay. Okay, Spanners, you've got this. The plumbing's broken. And I saw you could just, reboot the systems and then voila. Oh, but then we get no salvage because it means they're all alive. Let's hope it's not the plumbing. I do agree with Spanners, though. Sorry, go ahead.
Oran's like, not interested in racing, but could we drop some of them races off, and the rest of us go and find this lost ship?
Split mission. Sounds sensible.
Yes, pod racers. That sounds a little bit more interesting. Hacking mainframes and gambling. Yeah.
I can't really tell, Lisa. Was that sarcasm? Were you being truthful?
And no, the options are Imperials, adrift space station, or pod racing. Well, I know what option I'm interested in.
That's fair. Okay. So, shall we split? All in flavor of splitting, say, tasty chicken.
Tasty
AFC.
chicken.
That was really mean to get the vegan to say tasty chicken.
Remux is not a vegan.
Definitely not.
If you just look on your communicators, there's a yes or a no vote button that I've just enabled in your firmware. You don't have to say stuff now. You can just press your group votes.
Man, this is why we keep you around, Isa. Thank you.
What?
Okay, so a split it is.
Wasn't prepared for that, but perfect. Okay, can you tell me who's going where, please?
Kira go
I
from
thought it's going to the pod racing, and one of my yet to be decided characters is going to the ship.
That's fine. I'm going to do option 1 tonight because I am slightly more prepared for you than what you planned on the pod racing. So I will do that one and then we'll do the pod racing one next week. So who was going to pod racing? Isa, Kira?
Yeah.
Spanners?
Lynn will go to pod racing. I think infiltrating a ring is going to need a bit more talky stuff, so she'll go with there.
And I assume Spanner's going to the pod racing too.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
But before he does that, if possible, he's going to pimp up the ship so it can handle itself in combat. But because he's interested in the pod racing, that does mean you won't have a mechanic for the possible ship-to-ship combat mission.
Yeah.
or a pilot who's piloting.
There are other characters that have got sensible skills.
I guess can fly.
They're just not in this game.
If we're boarding, then Remix will be handy for the, scavenging one. If we're boarding a ship that's got hostiles on it, boarding a station that's got hostiles on it, then Remix will be useful. So Remix is going on this one.
And gathering the salvage, really. Yeah, if we run into pirates, we just might have to wait until they docked before we engage. Then jump in, kill them on the ship rather,
Yeah.
and then steal their ship too, and the salvage. Ooh, extra salvage, I like it.
Starting to build yourself a
Okay.
fleet.
That sounds good.
So it's just Nick to decide who's going on this next mission. Anyway, so let's talk logistics before Nick decides, because he might change his mind.
So who else is going on the Swan Diver? Which of your... So is Orin on the Swan Diver mission, Andrew?
Yeah.
Thaddeus, Remix, Oren I've got so far, and Nick undecided.
Yeah, I think it might be fun for Triassic to go onto the Swan Diver, and Click Clack will just be like autopilot for this one.
So you want to use him as an NPC pilot type thing? Okay.
Yeah, he can just fly the ship. Like, yeah.
Can he fly?
Nice.
So logistics. You've got one ship. Going to two different.
Oh yeah,
places.
where are these locations, right? Because that actually matters.
Pod racing is on Malastair,
Ooh.
or the most upcoming race is on Malastair. It goes around the galaxy. The location.
And that is on the way to the Swan Diver.
No.
Yes.
Also, the guys wanting to go to the pod racing want to go back to Taris in order to collect the pod.
Oh,
So
fuck.
there will not be enough time for them to take you to where you need to go and then leave to go get the pod and then make it back for the pod racing.
We'll have to get on space taxi.
To Taris.
That's
To
also
get-
less conspicuous if we go to Taris in not one of our ships. Isn't it?
Does the Baron have spare ships we could rent?
Or we just do the first mission first and then do the next one. Urgent mission number 1, full crew. Let's do it.
Also, the Baron said he'd sponsor us. Now, sometimes sponsoring means providing a pod racer as well. So maybe the Baron has a pod racer and we can just get him to take that party to the place we need to go and provide the pod racer, and then there's no problem.
My hammer.
I mean, I would personally feel better if we were in the race with a creation of spanners. Like I feel like our chances would be substantially increased. We could spray paint the Baron's business name on the side of the hammer for a race or two. That's what sponsorship entails.
And I'm sure I can help make sure that there aren't any mistakes in the engineering.
Yes, Kira.
It's going to go get some ice for that burn. You can split the party. I'm happy if you just split the party. I have a solution for you.
Nope.
Okay.
You do? Go
Yeah.
ahead.
So, Lynn, what have you decided?
Well, we'd like to take options 1 and 2.
Ooh, that's interesting options. How are you going to do both, though, with one ship?
Well, that's the problem.
You need a ship.
We could do with the ship.
Who's
I
doing-
wouldn't say so strongly as we need it.
Well, I think you would need it to get to somewhere. Who's going off to do the skimming and pod racing? I assume you want to get sponsored to go on being conspicuous. Is that right?
Absolutely.
Have you got yourself a pod?
We do.
We do. It's one of Spanner's own creations.
Oh, well, very interesting. I can.
It is indisposed at the moment. I mean, it just needs to be collected.
So you need a ship to collect this pod and make it there on time.
Yes.
Just go and check the hangar next to yours. You're in 3B. Go and check 3D. Just see if that would do for your size, Spanners. Just take a peek around the curtain as it is.
Got it.
So, Lynn, you want sponsoring? I will sponsor the entry to the race. Although,
Fantastic.
I'd need to know what your deal is. I offered you 25% of the passive income or 6,000 credits just to do the job for me.
I think we're in it for the long term, but I'd need to clarify with everyone else. Actually, pause. On the previous discussion, on the previous group call, we discussed this as a team. Do we want the 6,000 credits up front, or do we want 25% passive income? I personally think we should do passive.
I mean, if the passive income is like 5 credits, then it's not worth it. What?
Is there any way of knowing how much the passive income would be?
Yes, Lynn, thanks for asking that question. I did my mathematics earlier. The passive income would work out about 1,000 credits a week.
And yes, the passive income. I don't care what anyone else says. That's the good call. Yeah.
Minus my cut, of course.
Oh yeah, you said ours would be 25% of the passive income, so that would be 250 a week.
Yep.
Plus, oh yeah, that's still worth it, I think.
Maybe we can negotiate depending on how well you do in the race. You might win big for me and we can renegotiate the price.
And how deeply we infiltrate the ring. I mean, what if we take over entirely?
Well, let's see what
Bigger
happens.
cut for us, I get.
I guess so. I guess this is a pro bono one, just depending on how well you do. But you need a ship. Spanners, can you see that ship there?
Oh yes, that'll do nicely.
What does it say on the side of it? It's got a big stamp along the side saying Redview Logistics.
Redview Logistics.
But is that big enough for you to get your pod and equipment on and get across space? Galaxy?
Oh yes, looks like it.
Is that keen for you, Laroon? Laroon? Where's Laroon? Lynn?
Yeah.
Baroon.
Yeah.
That's fantastic, Baroon. Thank you very much.
Does that work for you, Lynn?
Well, absolutely. It's very kind of you to lend us your ship.
Just don't get caught in it because it was stolen.
Spanners, we need a quick paint job, and I saw we need a quick
No,
ship ID update.
you can change the ID, just don't change the outer look. I'm planning on giving it back. I was just using it as a bargaining chip against one of my competitors. But you can put some mileage on it before.
Sounds good.
Great.
I saw, can you spin up a new tracking chip? Fantastic.
Dan, can I ask you a couple of questions, please? So Spanners has done this before. He has entered a ship into pod racing before, as you know. So he would know what the cost of entry is and whether it's worth getting the Baron to sponsor our entry or whether it's better for us to just pay our own entry, and also whether we need to be a known entity in order to enter. Now, would Spanners think that we're getting something worthwhile from the Baron by this sponsorship?
About 5,000 credits to enter the race. And the winner gets obviously a prize pool of most of it. It's the first, second, and third. You would probably understand that it takes a little bit of knowing people to get entered into the race, and whether Spanners would know those people to get entered, I don't know.
Perfect. That's enough justification to accept the sponsorship. Thank you.
So, you're heading...
I mean, it makes sense as an unknown pod racer. Kira's not exactly well known, so yeah, why would they want to put her in the race? I guess.
Well, the pod racing community will always take a cut of the entry fee, so the more people that are in the race, the more money they make. Theoretically. So, anything else, Lynn and Spanners, or are you all set for your respective challenges?
I gladly accept your sponsorship.
I'll make a call, Spanners.
Thank you. You might want to wait until we've got the ship, just in case we don't get it. Just in case we don't get the pod racer.
I'll wait for your call. I don't like wasting credits.
Indeed.
I hope it's a fast one.
Oh, it is.
Have you got a good pilot, Spanners?
Oh yes, that's all sorted.
Yeah. Who?
Oh, Kira.
Yes, she does like a fast speeder, doesn't she?
Yes, she'll do nicely.
Yes, yeah.
She'll do us proud, don't you worry.
Good. So, we concluded.
I believe so.
Good luck.
Thank you. And thank you for the ship.
Loan of a ship.
Yeah, of course.
Spanners will immediately do a direct call to Kira afterwards and say, Kira, you have driven a pod racer before, right?
Yes, I have.
Oh, good.
Didn't go well, but I expect it will go better this time.
My last pod didn't do too well either, but let's just keep our previous failings secret, yes? And put on a good game.
Yes, it's all for the fun, isn't it?
Yes, indeed. We'll learn from our previous mistakes, I'm sure.
I'd like to point out it's not just for the fun, it's also for the credits that fund our party, dears. So there's a little more high stakes this time around.
Sorry, this is a private comms. Get
It
off.
was, yeah, specifically said direct call.
What you don't know is Lynn is listening in.
I can imagine Spanners going into the corner and just going. Okay.
Before the ship comes across to fetch us, Kira would like to propose to the others to leave a message of warning to the Transtoceans in their sort of like sanctuary.
The Tuscans.
Tuscan, sorry, I'm so bad at names.
I was going to say the Transtoceans, where they come from.
That was the other sand planet.
God,
They're everywhere.
It was this sand planet, actually. Just a different part. What message would you like to leave?
Remux, do you want to go and meditate down there since you felt a great spiritual connection?
I would, before we leave.
Remix is sitting cross-legged down there and Kira's got a hammer and a chisel just into the wall.
Kira, might this vibro machete help a little bit more to just cut a neat little message into
I mean, I was gonna leave a data pad with a secret passkey, but banging on the walls works too.
Yeah, we should not defile their sanctity of their... no, we should not.
So what message are you trying to leave, Andrew?
Just a warning that maybe not say the Baron, but the landowner might be coming back, and just to be careful because he's going to want to clear out any people from the area.
Okay. I don't know if Tuscans can read daily pads.
They're a bit like Remix, aren't they?
Or maybe Remix
It's a
could
hollow
just
projector.
channel. Can you channel a message? I mean, I don't have to leave it. Just I would like us to leave a message. Do some good.
Okay. So you leave a message in some form of way, whether it's a data pad or a hollow message or even scratching into the wall, like something.
No, we don't scratch into the wall, but we write it into the dust on the floor.
Oh, okay.
We write a little message in the dust.
So you leave a message basically warning them that the new landowner is potentially genocidal to get what he wants. Okay.
But also that they were framed for the murder of the people upstairs. So they should just be aware that someone's trying to...
Got it out for them.
Is this on a really big bit of floor?
Yes.
I feel like the landowner
We could do
wasn't gonna
pictures.
go and genocide all them. He was like, "Oh, I'm going to have to go and get back at the
Work
huts
with
and
them.
tell me dud land."
Yeah, he wasn't. He wasn't bothered by the Tuscans. He was more frustrated that he'd been sold land. That the huts had then sent some guys or something along those lines to try and disrupt his operation.
So that he sells it back to them at a cheaper price and makes a loss.
Yeah.
Probably some
Something like
weird scheme. Anyway,
that. So in comes the parrot, whoosh, and lands on the sand dune next to the fort.
it could stand to have a few more improvements. That wing looks, well, that engine over there looks like it's hanging on quite precariously. Please don't tell Spanners I said that.
Spanner walks down and goes, "Do you like the new engine I fitted?"
Fantastic, fantastic, Spanners. Amazing. Great work. She flies well
Where's-
then.
It's a bit of a different shape to the other one, but this will do the job.
Kira swears under her breath, I hope the speed is in better condition. I mean, the pod race is in better condition than the parrot.
What are you loading onto the parrot? The skiff won't fit.
Does the skiff have an autopilot that we can just tell it to go back to where it came from?
It does now.
Did you flip over a last I point? I haven't rolled those actually. Yeah, maybe ISR can retrofit it with a small targeting computer and send it back to the hangar. Otherwise, it's gonna be boring working out how you do that, and I don't want to. So now you've got to meet up with the crew because I think some of you are on alternate ships now, right?
Could we just attach it to the underside and take it back? There we go, John.
Yeah, you carry it back and meet up with the rest of the crew to join their respective ships.
2 ships, and we need to do some people swapping as well, don't we?
Yes. Yeah.
Also, can Spanners find an advanced targeting array, and are we as a party happy to pay that to turn our ship into something with some actual firepower?
How much is it?
It's a special
So-
order item, that one.
It is 4,000 credits.
Do we have that in the party fund?
Yes,
Got 6 grand.
the ship has one hard point, meaning one addition you can make to it. And when we did our deep dive into the ship, it was quite clear that what it's lacking in is firepower, and one hard point can be used for an advanced targeting array. What it does is it means that you can upgrade the ability of gunnery checks. So make every gunnery check one better, and then also you can mod attachments. So the advanced targeting array is an attachment, but then Spanners can then mod the attachment and make it even better. So it upgrades gunnery checks by 2, or he can even put in a talent to the ship to make it have true aim or sniper shot.
I mean, all of those things sound amazing, but the mods will be later, right?
Yes, that would take time, I guess. Dan let's do that, but we could maybe, I reckon Spanners could install the targeting array before the ship leaves.
Okay.
It's just like that expansion slot you stick under the gunnery station in the the slots that used to get on TVs that didn't ever get used for anything. That like really thin slot. They've still got new TVs. Doesn't do anything. Targeting array.
It's just like a Mega Drive cartridge that you plug in, right? And that's the advanced targeting array.
Sure. Let's say it's one of those. Make it easy.
The N64 didn't have that the expansion pack underneath the thing. You just pop the lid off, and there you go, job done.
Still got that in the loft.
So that's a yes.
Yes, you can have it. Yes, you can plug and play.
Yay! Thank you.
I'd like to think Spanners tries to make it really technical and then just plugs it in. Done. Okay, so you all have a conversation about the respective missions and then start packing up your equipment to go join different ships. What is the name of this other ship?
I can't
Redview
even remember what it said
Logistics Ship
outside it.
1.
The Alabama Hot Pocket.
It's got to be a bird. An Alabama hot pocket.
Google it, Dan.
No. If you're telling me to Google it, I don't want to.
So Redview, so it could be like the Red Falcon or the Robin Redbreast or something.
It's on
The-
loan, or we borrowed it. So, like the loaned lark.
The Century Robin.
I only ask because you'll be giving it a new ID code.
I can't think of any bird beginning with B all of a sudden, but the borrowed something.
Okay.
All that wingspan has done nothing.
Borrowed bird.
Call it the borrowed bird if you like.
Go home.
We'll just
I am home.
I've written borrowed bird until you can come up with something better. So you split off into your two teams with Trassic, Click Clack, Remix, Thaddeus, and Orin all heading for the parrot, and Kira, Spanners, Isa, and Lynn all heading for the borrowed bird at the moment. Well, it's the borrowed bird. Okay.
The borrowed budgie.
I like it.
The borrowed
Come to
budgie.
me.
There we go. No worries. Okay, you could just call it the budgie. Anyway, so you head off into your ships, and whoever's flying starts to take off, and you head off in your different directions. On the parrot, you hear a, ladies and gentlemen, lunch is ready if you're interested.
Of course. Thank you.
What delicacies of the
Are you
chef
doctor?
stand
Are you
for us
professor?
today?
I can't. Professor
Dr.
Beige?
Lemet Beige.
Doctor Beige.
Yes, you can call me Lemet. We're all friends here, aren't we, Trassic?
Everyone's a friend until they're a meal.
Well, hopefully this meal with extra meat for you will be sufficient. And I wanted to apologise about the outrageous food bill, but if you look at the cupboards, and he opens up all the cupboards, and they're completely stocked, not with fancy things, like with just general things like noodles, blue milk, in Andor they pour out these chocolate cereal balls, don't they, in the bowl, whatever. Anyway, it's actually just a fully stocked pantry. He's just filled up the cupboards. He goes, there is a few luxuries, as the meat that you're eating with your noodles and meat, and a few, well, I couldn't resist chocolatey hazelnuts, but I'm happy to share, of course.
That's delightful. Thank you.
Yes. Okay.
Is the meal good?
Yes, very good. You feel very full. As a droid, you don't. as a droid, he gives you a cup of oil and you just rub yourself in it. But the others who do eat will say to you, "Oh, it was very nice and very fulfilling." So, may I ask where we're going? I wasn't privy to the call.
You see, we go into space, and then in that space, there's a haunted old space station, and we're gonna go and steal stuff from it. You see,
In my experience, Trassic, it's not haunted. It's misunderstood spirits.
yeah,
So, what's happened on this space station?
fuck knows.
Oh, was it a military one? A research facility? A docking port?
It was a docking station. I'm sure he said docking station because
I said it
I
was.
made a joke in my head about the
Oh,
docking.
no, it was he said it was a research facility which had been converted from an old docking station.
Oh, okay. So it was a docking station. I was right.
Yeah, The official name for what it is called the Harbour Class Mobile Space Dock. It's monstrous.
Yeah, that sounds well impressive. Like,
Oh, so
I'm gonna go steal shit from it.
a research station? No. Would I be any use at all? I am a doctor after all.
Sure, come along.
Uh, one question though. You said haunted, obviously misunderstood spirits. Is there any other danger?
Yeah, I mean, it's not really haunted. Probably haunted by the spirits of the slain. Scientists, you see, it went quiet after sending a distress signal, so everyone's probably dead. And someone's probably killed them all. So, we get to kill some people.
I do love how Trassic has changed into Phil Mitchell.
Yeah, I wanted to do something different, deep triastics and deep remix. And I listened to Where There's a Will, There's a Wake, which is a fantastic podcast done by Kathy Burke, who was Perry in Kevin and Perry. And she had Danny Dyer on. And I was like, I've got to do something with this.
I like it. Well, of course. Well, I'm happy to. Well, I want to help because I want to show that I'm worth something to the crew other than just being the cook. And I can't fly like Kira or anybody else, and I'm not as combat efficient as Orin. He's very clever. That one, very clever. But I can learn my expertise.
What is your expertise? What are you a doctor at?
Antiquities, and I do know a little bit about biology and mechanical things, but antiquities mainly.
Base, do you hear that hum?
Pardon?
That hum. Do you hear that hum?
No, sir.
That's the sound of us already having taken off. You don't really have a choice in this matter.
Oh, I got so caught up in the cooking of lunch. I do apologise. Well, I'll go prepare my things.
You do that.
Okay, enjoy the lunch. He'll disappear off to his designated locker.
Tracy
Happy
takes his
Gosling
bowl of
wasn't on the
noodles
ship.
and just drinks the entire lot in one go.
Like an anime character with ramen.
It's very tasty, very very tasty. So after about, I'm not going to do time for hyperspace because hyperspace travel is boring. Is there anything you guys want to say to each other during the hyperspace travel, or would you like to drop out into the space station zone?
Remix will be spending quite a bit of time with Dr. Limit Beige, actually. You notice them often talking off in the corner together.
Would you like me to text you a question? Sorry, would you like me to text you questions? No, would you like to text me questions afterwards?
Yes. Oh, well, thank you.
Okay. Do you want to have a wee break?
That would be lovely.
Yes, please.
Okay, I'm going to go use the outside loo.
Thank you.
Drinks!
Hi.
Hello.
So just before the other guys get back, Orin can search the swan diver if he wants
On the back
to
channels.
on the back channels. What he will find out is that it is a scientific research lab, but it's not supported by the Imperials or the Rebellion. It's actually privately funded, but there's not a lot of information of what they've been doing there. There's been some publications that have been released from swan diver scientists where they've made a breakthrough in genetics or healing medicine or advancements in propulsion technology, but it's nothing. It seems to be sort of generally rounded. It doesn't seem to be anything specific that comes out on those channels.
Cool. Sorry, noting things down.
It's okay. You guys have done a really good job so far tonight of all over the place.
I honestly thought you wanted a split. I didn't realize that wasn't in the
I
plans.
hadn't even thought about it. I was planning the stuff earlier today. I had an idea of what I wanted to do, and I was just like, right, okay, doing a text run, finish a text run, right, a little bit of notes, do another text run, a little bit of notes, text run, and then back and forward. And I hadn't even thought the possibility of like splitting the party and doing stuff, but I loved the idea of it.
I saw your jumper earlier, Richard, that you have now taken off. And for Christmas,
You got an hoodie too.
got an hoodie too, and you got me an hoodie. Love it. Absolutely, it's the best thing in the world. Don't know how I survived that one.
They're so comfy and so hot. I was about to take it off. It was doing its job too well.
Yeah, where it's proper, I find that it's very much. I'm cold. I put it on. I'm like, oh, I'm quite warm. And then an hour later, I'm like, I'm very warm. It needs to actually.
Too hot.
Yeah.
Very good.
But I love it. I love it so much. It's just so cozy, comfy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm actually gonna have to take this up already.
Yeah, I highly recommend them.
They were like before Christmas. I spotted them, and that's why I mentioned them to Angie. But they were on sale before Christmas. I think it was like November or something. They were like 30 quid each. They're really, really cheap. So getting them on sale is absolutely worth it.
Yeah.
You spend it on a hoodie anyway.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
Okay, so you drop out of hyperspace, and in the front view of the ship is a monstrous space station. Looks like a big tube and fans out at the top to look a bit like an umbrella. And at the top, you can clearly see where the docking areas were. But these are docking ports for capital ships. So this thing, just for size purposes, is absolutely massive. Who's flying? Click was flying, wasn't he? He points to a data readout and pushes a button and says, "There's some information here about the station." He's not reading it because I don't know how to do his voice. But he points to this readout, and the readout states that the station's integrity is full, hull integrity is fine, there's no leaks. The power is on. There doesn't appear to be any life forms on board from the initial scan.
I've been doing some research in the back channels. Seems that this scientific research lab was privately funded. Didn't seem to belong on either side of the Imperials or otherwise. They also don't seem to have many papers on a specific area. They're very well rounded, so they have a couple of like healing medicine and propulsion tech and things like that. So can't see any red flags, but that doesn't mean they're not there.
Does it say which company owns the?
Unfortunately not.
Unfortunate.
One does wonder Could it be our old nemesis?
It could be. Are there any dead forms on board?
Dead forms.
Yeah, like life forms, the opposite of life forms, dead forms.
The scan doesn't provide for those. So you don't know.
I feel like that's an oversight, really. If you can scan for life forms, surely you can scan for dead forms.
Does the scan return any biomass,
Does your
like flora and fauna?
Does your scan? Yes. Answer that question.
Does it return any values for flora and fauna in the scan?
Values.
Yeah. Like, what's it come back with
Trees.
for
bushes,
non-life form scanning?
plants. Insects. Mammals. Reptiles. But no humanoid signatures.
Oh,
So
so there
it's all
are
just
life
going
signs
on.
on board. Okay, but no.
The answer to the question, was this your nemesis? Its price is 38 million credits. He was very wealthy, but you don't think he was that wealthy.
Cool.
Could we steal a docking station?
Surprisingly, they do have hyperspace capability. Mm-hmm.
You're muted, Richard.
Thank you. Sorry, did you say whether there was any visible damage to it that we could see?
The hull doesn't appear to have any damage, and from what you can gather, all the systems appear to be functioning correctly from this initial scan that you did.
Interesting.
Any ships currently docked?
Nope. It's just slowly spinning in orbit. Well, in its own orbit.
And no ships docked.
No ships docked.
What about the life support integrity?
Appears to be functioning fine according to your scan.
Air filtration? Pathogens? Anything like that?
Now you're asking for too much.
Mm-hmm.
Go find out.
Well, this is what Professor's asking. Come on, Click Clack, why does this goddamn scanner not tell us about pathogens? I bet if Isa were here, he'd be able to make it do this.
I'm not sure that someone can make technology do what technology can't do, but you're welcome to get him to ask. I'm not sure why you are directing this question at me like it is my ship.
You're flying the ship, so no.
Sit down and I'll ask you these questions. Otherwise, back the fuck off.
Fair point.
Is it possible to dock with a ship with no crew on the other end? He looks knows fuck all about space and spaceships. So he definitely wouldn't know the answer to that question. How would we do that?
Somewhere where it's all automated. Well, mostly automated.
Seems like we should dock and investigate on foot.
Definitely. But those who need to breathe should probably wear some sort of respiratory assistance. Flesh bags should probably wear some sort of covering in case there's corrosive material, or corrosive, pollutants in the air. I would not like anything to happen to you personally.
Agreed. Thank you.
Are we all suited up? Shall we go?
So you find a docking port close to the main. I don't know if you can see what this looks like. Looks like this. So you find a docking port closer to the main section rather than having to walk down all these bits and pieces.
Mm-hmm.
And you dock and you hear the hiss of the pressurised cabin now becoming pressurised with the station, and the doors unlock. And you can see into this station. It's nice and clean and white. I imagine like medical white, like just easy to clean and whatnot. And who's stepping out first?
Thaddeus will go first.
Okay. So what you see, Thaddeus, as soon as you step out into these white corridors, looking back and forward, it's just a bit of mess on the floor. Things that just seem out of place, like people have dropped them while running from something. Like there'll be like the odd memento or bit of paper, data pad on the floor. The odd bit of clothing that's been discarded to allow people to run quicker, or something along those lines. But other than that, everything appears to be in functioning order and looks clean.
Is anyone getting flashbacks to the Cronus? Which is the ship that you found adrift in Aliens.
Oren, could you check in the ship systems to see if this air is breathable for you or full of contaminants or anything like that? Is that a thing you could do?
I could possibly do a computer's check.
Thank you.
Well, our suits tell us.
Your suits will tell you, yeah, they're
Oh,
Viro
okay.
suits. If
Alright.
you hold it up,
Fine.
the air's perfectly fine. There's no toxins.
Air's good.
There doesn't appear to be any corrosive pathogen that it knows about in the current air. You go to a terminal and do the same thing if you wish.
Bryson
Orange-
steps onto the
orange.
ship and takes a big old deep breath and waits for it to kill him or not.
It smells like air. It smells quite pleasant.
Come on, guys.
Are you staying
Also,
with the
he
ship?
can't fit a suit on over his arms, so
Cryptak, are you staying with the ship?
it's probably best that someone keeps an eye on it just in case.
Aye, thank you.
And he'll go and sit on his, like, where we're docked. There'll be like a seat or something across the corridor or something. He'll just go and sit on that with his gun on his lap and start stripping it down or something. He's got two of them, so he'll go and amuse himself, play some cards or something.
With himself.
Oh,
Yeah,
Dr.
play
Beige is
solitaire.
there.
Yeah,
No,
no,
that's
he'll play cards by himself because he's the only one there.
He's not. Dr. Beige is there.
No, he'll play by himself because he's the only one there.
Dr. Beige will probably wait for. Oh, actually, no, he will come out as well. Dr. Beige will come out. He will look like a bit of a weird guy, and he's in Viro suit until he's told he can take it off, and then he sort of takes it off really awkwardly.
We'll need him to assess all of that, all the archaeological finds we're going to get on this scientific research station.
Yeah.
Right, Oren, that computer's check you were going to do, can you do it to locate the most valuable items that we can go and grab?
I mean, that sounds like a good idea, but should we not figure out what happened to the crew?
Before we
Maybe
do that,
look at the logs.
could you please all roll a destiny die before you
Got
go
the
any further?
pick of destiny.
You're wrong. There we go.
All good.
What?
Remix rolled twice.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay. It's alright. It's fine.
Eat the last draw.
Okay, right. Can I have an average computer check then, please, Oren?
Yeah.
Perfect. So you tap into the computer. The first thing you were looking for was environmental stuff to make sure everything's breathable, even though your suits told you. And as far as you can tell, the life support systems are working as intended. Doesn't appear to be any faults or anything else in the system. The next thing you were looking for was a manifest, if I recall.
I was overriding on that one. I wanted to look at logs to see what happened to the crew.
Oh, okay, fair enough. Okay, right. So we'll go for the logs then. So you can see from the logs that there was some escape pods launched probably about 4 days ago, 5 days ago. However, the number of escape pod seats does not equal to the number of staff rostered on this ship station. There were 6,000 staff on here and only 3,000's worth of seats left.
And can I see the distress signal?
You can see that it was sent 4 days ago.
But was there any message?
Basically, help. Like literally the word help. And that came from the command module on this vessel.
All right. And then I will download the manifest.
You're not having the manifest as well. No chance. You can't get it from here.
Command module it is. Let's go.
Okay, did you get a blueprints so that we can
You can have that for free.
know where we're going?
You can have that for free. So on the very top, so if you remember the picture, you've kind of come in on the flat level here, so the command module's at the top. Then you go down into the living quarters and all the way down, right the way down to the bottom is all labs and storage. That's how we're going to do this. I'm just going to rub it a little bit. Yeah. So that's the way it works. Excuse me.
Command module first, then labs and storage. Everyone happy with that? All right, let's go.
So going from your current position where your ship is and working your way along the corridors towards the command module, you see much of the same. There's a few times you see where the escape pod doors are, and if you look out the very small video viewing window, you will see that pod's been launched. You do see some that are still there, but much of the same. You just see just odd things that are dropped on the floor, like occasionally a shoe or a lab coat or an ID badge, or a bag of some description with little bits and pieces in it. But never do you find any body parts, blood, anything else. You just see these random items.
Any evidence of what they were running from? Like any mucus anywhere, or like claw marks or anything like that?
Absolutely nothing.
Anything that we can hear now, like something that could be wrong with the ship, maybe, that we can hear that doesn't sound right, or loud banging somewhere else in the station, anything that we can hear?
Other than the Jaws theme tune, no.
Okay.
No.
I'm just going to try something that's probably not going to work, but Click Clack, could you see if you can locate the 3,000 pods that have, or the 3,000 seats worth of pods?
I will scan the surrounding space, but remember our scanners are only effective up until a certain range. I'm not quite sure what they are on this sort of machine, but I will start a scanning grid now.
We'll leave Click-Clack to do that in the background. Yeah. So you come to the turbo lifts eventually, and the command module is up.
Up.
Ding. And you open up onto the command module, which is basically just a lot of terminals everywhere. Clearly the captain's seat, table, whatever you want to call it, command post. But there's, again, nobody in here. When you walk around the room, you can see all the systems, and they all seem to be operating fine. You can clearly see the life support system over there reading out 100%, and you've got the water facility system over there reading out 100% for recycling, and everything appears up here to be perfectly fine. In this room, though, there is zero evidence of anything that's been left behind.
And no one panicked and ran out of here.
Not that you can see.
By the looks of things.
Can I check this computer system?
Yeah.
Is there any, like, you say there's no evidence of anything left behind. Is there any evidence of anyone ever having worked here? So, like a data pad or a pen not in a pot, or, does this look like it's just come out of the place that makes these massive things, so no one's been in here yet? You know what I mean? Like the accoutrements that people accrue when they work places like like a pen pot and a pad of paper and all that sort of shit.
I'm sure that there probably would be. Maybe a stool has been knocked over or something like that. So it looks like there.
Okay, but we haven't got the stuff strewn on the floor.
Correct.
Just
Yeah.
okay.
It looks like an office when everyone's run out the door for an office party. There's like bits of paper or things left on the side and stuff like that. But yeah, so it looks like it's been lived in, but not sped out the doorway as fast as possible. Andrew, you wanted to go tappy tappies.
Mm-hmm.
What are you looking for?
That's just the manifest now first, and then the same difficulty.
Yes, you can have the same difficulty. You're not under any pressure at the moment. Amazing. Okay, so you go onto one of the terminals. You find one of them that happens to be, logistics or something like that for the station, and you find the manifest. And there is all kinds of information about what's on the station. There is fauna, creatures, insects, chemical bins, obviously used for experiments. There is materials storage for like metals and circuit boards, components, cybernetics. There is medical equipment, medical consumables. It's a big old list of everything that you would think a scientific facility would want and need. Appears to at least have some or a little bit of quantity of everything.
Right. Can I see if there's a way to access any medical, like any of the science? I'm guessing that's going to be a terminal downstairs, but
Yeah, I would think that any scientific data would be stored on the science terminals, not on the general station terminals.
Does that information tell you what was going on in each of the labs roughly? Like, does it have a directory?
You can find out that certain labs were doing certain things. So you can see that there is a biological lab, there is a cybernetics lab, botany, all those bits. So you can see that there is different levels.
Because the plants and shit might not be worth so much, so maybe the tech labs are worth going to have a look at if we're going to get salvage.
Dr. Page, here's the manifest. Most valuable things. Find them now.
Oh yes, of
One
course.
special request from me. Any very rare creatures, notify me about those too.
Yes, yes. I'll take it on my data pad here, and I like to walk and think, if you don't mind. So he starts walking around the command module where you are, and he's like, oh yes, yeah. Remex. Look at this item in the antiquities. It's what you're looking for.
What?
It's the cycler unit that you need.
Oh, I'll make sure I make a beeline for that, shall we?
I won't mark it for thingy, but yes, okay.
Okay.
Oh, great list. There's lots of things. Yes. Right. Ready
Most
to go.
valuable, we have limited cargo space, so we need most valuable, least amount of traffic. Let's get the shit and get out.
Well, I said my expert is antiquities, but I mean, there's quite a lot of cybernetic parts here, and hold on. Oren, is this correct? It says here 25,000 units of cybernetic parts. That's big boxes of cybernetic parts. That's an awful lot. And now it's only saying the manifest was 25,000 at loading, and now it's only 3,000. There's not a lot of parts left. Let's just check the dates. 1 second.
That's one massive automated jack-off arm in it.
Oh, that was used in a period of 2 weeks. Very strange. So the cybernetics, as long as we can get those 3 crates, that'd be worth some money. But very strange how there's 25,000 units and now there's only a small amount. And I'd like to go to the antiquities, please, because there are some items on here which could be worth quite a bit. Educational value.
Does seem strange indeed. Before we go anywhere, let's see if anything's locked down. Are any of the levels locked down?
I don't know. Ask the So, okay, let's have another computer check. This one's going to be hard because you're looking for areas that have been specifically security locked. Is that what you mean?
Yeah. I'm just looking for the red part that's not green on the lock screen.
Yeah, like they've tried to trap something there, or like you need a security pass to access it.
Surely it's just a big board that tells you all the locked doors, right?
That's what I thought.
You find,
Didn't go so smoothly.
No, you do find the board, Orin. However, all of the doors are flashing red, green, red, green, red, green, and including the ones that you have literally just walked through, flashing red, green, red, green, red, green.
Broken.
Will it fly? I don't understand these panels. Can we determine whether it can fly?
You mean the ship, the station?
The station. Didn't somebody earlier say that these things can go to hyperspace? Maybe we could fly it to where we need to. Still the whole thing. Check.
I mean, Oren, you said it was worth 38 million credits. But I do think that the people who spent 38 million credits on this would come down and rain a mighty fury upon our little crew of just a few people.
No, you see, that's where you're missing the point. This is the Baron's problem now.
Because he's got to give us 25% of the 38 million.
Yeah.
And then
He just park it above his
overthinking
planet.
it. He takes a 25% finders and sellers fee of whatever we find. Well, we found this.
Orin, you, while looking and discussing this whatever, you just feel something touch your leg, and you look down, and it looks like a miniature robot, like a miniature stick man with a metallic exoskeleton, but it has like a gelatine kind of outline around it, and it touches your leg and tugs your trouser as if it's not even registering you. And then when you sort of look down, it just sort of catches the movement and then goes "Ah!" and runs as fast as it can towards a vent.
Question: what silhouette is it?
Teeny tiny. It's like the size of this bottle. It's absolutely tiny.
I think you know what I'm going to do.
I'm going to try and grab it.
I'm going to try and lift it up.
Okay.
As it's running away. What would you like for that?
Right, it's really small. Like, so...
Silhouette 0.
Let's go.
Yeah, so it's going to be...
really easy to lift is what you're saying.
Yeah, because like you can like how big is it against like a lightsaber, for example?
Well, probably the same height, just for argument's sake. But
yeah,
I think the question is more whether I'm quick enough to grab it before it goes in the vent. So I think it's more of an agility check rather than like a force check, because I think I'm gonna have the ability to lift it. Silhouette 0. I have force move, so it's just so I reckon it should be like an agility check.
I think you should roll the agility check with the force die. Let's give you a hard agility check, or is that too?
So can I have athletics?
You can have athletics, yeah.
Which I can use the force on anyway.
Okay. Fair enough.
Cool. 2 yellow, 2 green, 1 force, and Hard, 3 purple.
Yeah.
Oh! It's running into the vent, and Remix just goes and grabs it with the force and lifts it up and brings it to the center of the room, just holding it aloft.
It's a very good point of what Nick just did in his picture there, because you're using the dark side point, aren't you? So, no. Like, no. What I mean is, so you grab it, right? So you're grabbing it in with the force. Are you actually squeezing it because it's the dark side? Are you like constraining?
Why not? That's it. That's on theme, isn't it? Yeah, sure.
Okay. So it dives for the vent. Yeah! It's just screaming the whole time it's coming closer to you from in the force, and it goes, "Why?"
This noise gets hilarious.
Sorry, boys.
Your noise cancelling on your microphone is cancelling out your scream.
Oh, okay, right. But
Halfway
it says
through it, yeah.
it says why, but yeah, it's screaming.
With the sound of silence.
Remix walking towards it, still using maybe somewhere between force choke and force lift. Walk up to it and say, "What are you doing?"
Why?
What happened here? Tell us.
How close are you?
Maybe a meter.
So it just starts trying to claw out of being grabbed. Doesn't answer you again.
What happened? Answer us.
You see on its face, well, what was its face? It's like a stick man, so it's like just a little pencil. It was kind of blue opticals. When you get more aggressive with it, it turns around and these eyes have turned red. And then it just tries more furiously to grab actually at you rather than like trying to. It's being held twisted. But you've completely lost it in communication. You can tell it's just in a fury now trying to scrabble at everything in front of you.
Remix looks at the others like, I'm at a loss.
Well, Dr. Beige, I think we found out what happened to your cybernetics.
He's hiding behind somebody. He's peeking across. No, I'm not going anywhere near that thing. But I probably would explain it.
Right.
Oren's gonna try and use some charm and just be like, "Don't worry, little one. We won't hurt you. Just tell us what we need to know."
It looks at Oren, and its eyes change back to blue, and it points with its hand at a data pad down on the side close to where it is. It just points to the data pad.
Oren grabs the data pad.
And then it reaches out for it.
I'm gonna hand it over.
And the weirdest thing happens. As it makes contact with the data pad starts to kind of shrink as parts strip off of it. And it starts to get bigger and bigger and bigger. Remix, I would like another roll, please, because he's getting heavier and heavier. He's assimilating this tech and making himself bigger.
Like a transformer. I think that's it.
From Stargate. What are they called?
The replicators.
Yes, the replicators. That's what I'm picturing.
I was picturing those two little annoying fucks from the Mark Wahlberg Transformers movie.
Oh.
that do exactly that.
These are much.
Dan, I would. Oh, okay. I would argue that as soon as it goes up one silhouette, I drop it because I literally can only move silhouette 0. So if you're saying it goes up a silhouette, then it drops.
No, I'll let you roll again because I wouldn't say it's going to go all the way in change of silhouette size, but it's getting bigger. So obviously, I know with lift, you only get a certain weight, don't you? I believe. So roll again. I'm happy for you to roll that again. And
same difficulty, hard purple.
Yeah, do hard again. Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
Okay. So it starts to get bigger, and you see the strain on Remix. Now have got the Black Force dice. I'm happy for you to rage and try and grab it. But maybe what it does is if you do try and grab it, it just breaks a piece off, and that breaks your concentration, and then it actually makes a dash for your Remix, and it's going to try and slash at you.
That's fair.
Let's just get my stats for a second. So, just a reminder what this kind of looks like. It's like an exoskeleton with like a jelly thing, like outline around it, and that all got bigger. So as it literally assimilated this datapad in seconds, and then just like grew when he was assimilating it, and the jelly grew with it as well. Sorry, it will be a second.
Did the jelly get bigger or did it get thinner?
Well,
like, did it
I think
keep the same amount of jelly?
Thinner is probably the right answer, as it is stretched over more mass.
Okay.
I just looked up, not that it matters, but just for future, Richard, R2D2 is a silhouette 0.
Oh, that's quite big then.
It is quite big, yeah.
Could pick up Jawa.
But yeah, basically R2D2 is the maximum size, I think. Like if you look at all the Chandras and all those little races, they're all smaller than an astromech.
So Jawas and Ewoks and
yeah,
astromechs
Yoda
back on the
is
left.
a silhouette 0, and yeah,
Nice.
but not people.
Richard,
Most
you've
humans.
got a melee defense, is that right? But you haven't got your sword drawn.
It's not drawn, no.
So
I think I'm
is it
too
just-
busy
is it
using my
just
hands
one?
for the force. Yeah, I guess so. Melee defense 1.
Okay. Aha! So it charges forward at you after losing a piece of it and just slashes at you. And it's so small that it gets through your guard and hits you and does 5 points of damage. And the wound stings, absolutely stings. And as it comes away from its attack, you see that all the blood that is on its claw as it comes through actually assimilates into the jelly. And then it prepares to go again.
That's messed up, isn't it? I have soak 5. It did 5 damage, so I take 1.
Yeah, and then you see the blood soak into it. You can all roll initiative if you want to, or you can let someone just whoever wants to chomp on this thing. I'm gonna let you guys have an attack. I don't think going into initiative is gonna matter too much from this point. But if you want to shoot it, stab at it, whatever you want to do, it's gonna try and run away in a second.
I mean, Thaddeus will pull out his flamethrower and go for the deep burn.
What is this, vigilance or cool?
Uh,
Because I can never fucking remember.
so vigilance. Is if you're
Dan said, "Don't worry about it."
No, just have an attack if you want to have an attack at it. It's taken Remix by kind of by surprise, but broke the grip and then dive forward and slashed at him. So if you want to take a crack at this thing, go ahead.
What
Someone else-
difficulty?
Difficulty is, well, it's in melee range with Remix, depends how close you were with that. So I suspect short if you weren't standing directly next to him.
Yeah, probably short. So what's that, 2?
But short is 1, but you're going to have a black die against it because it's so small. It's baggage up on the thing.
Oops.
What if we
Anson was
are
hoping
using a
that baggage was gonna
flamethrower?
come to bed with her.
I am using a flamethrower.
Yeah, I'm just trying to argue your case here, Ross.
Yeah.
You're using a flamethrower. It does. You're not trying to hit something. You're just trying to generally incinerate the area, right?
Remux might be on the dark side more than before.
Just a little. So you're using your flamethrower just in that direction, basically. So you aim it perfectly. That Remix is not affected, although it's very warm because it's very close to the flames. And you just hear a scream. I'm not going to do the scream because the microphone cuts it out. But you just hear the same scream from within the flames. And as your jet of flame ends, you see it kind of melting, all the metal inside of its exoskeleton melting into the floor, and it screams the whole way until it eventually dies. Jelly.
That was also a crit, by the way.
That's fine. It's dead.
Just well, I don't like flame, apparently.
That was fairly fucking unpleasant.
How's that
Noise,
cut on
noisy
your
little
leg
bugger.
doing? Very noisy. Anything suspicious about Remix's cut?
Other than it stinging him, no.
Really stings. This place isn't safe.
Right. More reasons to avoid the cybernetics area, because if it's building more of these things, any cybernetic mods would be a problem. What are those 2 crates? What do those 2 crates fetch? Up to beige?
I'm not a cyberneticist, but I guess a few thousand credits each on the market, maybe. They might even be able to be used by spanners.
And the antiquities you saw? How much would those fetch?
Well, if we get everything, which I don't think we'll have time for, but if we took these items here, and he shows you the data pattern, around about 10 to 20,000 credits, maybe.
We're going there. Done. Like that's good enough for me, I think. What say you, gents?
I'm all for going back to the ship.
We need salvage though.
Yeah, I mean, 10,000 credits for us. Can't think of the word. I just want to use an organisation, and it's wrong. For an installation like this, seems fairly low, to be honest, if you ask me. But we'll
So
take
you
what
want to
we
steal
can.
the whole thing again?
No, just cybernetic arm is worth a fortune, and there's boxes of the parts.
Well, there's 22,000 parts of those things running around.
Yeah, well, just yeet them into next door, right?
It may not all be that small. Did you see what happened when it absorbed that data pad? It might be facing something far larger and more dangerous than that little critter.
Oh, yeah, given that there's a bunch of missing cybernetics, I'd imagine there's something a little bit more interesting to kill.
And it's not just in the cybernetics. If that data pad got eaten, what about all the lab equipment?
I think we found out what happened to the 3,000 people who never made it onto their pods.
And at that
They became
revelation,
gel.
the power flickers, and you hear it audibly go, and the emergency lighting comes on.
Superb. They're just eating the reactors.
To the antiquities. Let's go. Oren, just to your previous point about leaving, I'm not so sure that I would be able to face Lynn, and that imagine how much it'll go to her head if they are successful on their mission and we come back with nothing. She'd be insufferable.
You might come back with nothing, no limbs, that sort of thing.
I would rather die than suffer her and that bullshit.
I'd also rather die than be afraid of some mice.
Antiquities never
Robotic.
leave.
I think so. As long as we get about 10 or 15,000 credits worth, we're good. Let's go. Everyone bought their bags of holding, right? That's a Star Wars thing.
Dr. Beige, are you coming or are you going back to the ship?
Well, I'd like to go back to the ship, but I feel you might need me to pick up the right items.
I need him.
And Rebux needs me. I think I need him more than he needs me. But yes, I'm coming. Lead on. And he actually pulls out a torch and attaches it to his little hat.
You in, Oren?
I'll follow and do what I can, but I'm not going to be stepping in to take a tiny little creature's bullet for you.
That's fine. I'll manage.
It would be so amazing if it actually fires these little creatures at you as part of its gun.
So, I assume the elevators are offline? Maybe? Should we check?
Yes, we should.
I'll check.
We're not going to be crawling through vents.
They're
are
offline.
we?
I know the answer to this.
Good effort, Jurassic, but that's offline.
Down the stairs we go then.
Could we not rappel down the cables?
That's what I was going to say. Jurassic, help me with these doors. Let's just pull them open and. Thank you.
These arms do it, no problem. Oh, I forgot these are new lifts. They're not old-fashioned with no cables, but look, we could climb down here, no problem. Good thing I brought a rope, though, because I am rather large.
Anybody have an EMP?
Banners, I think, has an EMP.
I don't know what one is.
Is there a weapon research area on the ship? Maybe we stop there on the way down.
If you look at your information, there was a weapon testing and construction facility.
What floor are we stopping off at then, lads?
Weapons and testing first.
What floor number?
23 and a half.
All right then, I'll see you down there. And he just steps into the void.
Professor Thaddeus looks
Grab
over
chute.
and watches.
Also, I thought you were going to do spider climbing down. I was going to say it looks amazing from up where everyone else is.
Oh,
Watch him
no.
spider climb.
I take grab chute back. I do exactly that. I do Doc Ock up the building in Spider-Man 2, except for I'm going down.
Can I borrow your grav chute? Thank you. Dr. Page will actually look quite excited about this as he's down to the edge and he gets the grav chute and he goes, and you just see his little torchlight following down in after Jurassic. Although he might say, "Watch out, Jurassic," as he goes a bit faster than expected because he's heavy.
We all jump down with our grab chutes.
Before Orange jumps down, he contacts Click Clack and says exactly what's going on, and it might be best if you separate the ships just in case, and redock when we're ready to escape.
Great idea.
Yeah, and constantly scan for any robotic signatures that have climbed on board.
Virtual thumbs up. Comes over the comms.
He
Sound.
click clack will go. Will undock and ask. Would you like me to continue searching for the crew in the escape pods, or would you like me to start scanning the ship for droids or such?
I'm more interested in the ship and the droids. Like, screw those guys. They can be rescued by their very rich benefactors. Or not.
Yeah. Big ship, very specific search. So I'm assuming it'll take him some time, but he'll just start scanning to see if they pop up on, like a droid scan or something like that.
That's on the parrot, correct?
Yes. Yeah, so Click Clack will disconnect the parrot. Just sort of,
Scan it for energy
synchronized.
or something like that. Okay.
Yeah.
So, going down the elevator shaft or lift shaft, turbo lift shaft. On your map, you had in order the biolabs, the flora, chemist lab, antiquities, cybernetics, weapons, and then storage in that order. And that's going down.
So we could further than antiquities to weapons and then back up to antiquity? Weapons first, then antiquity, then back
And
to
we
the
have to
ship?
go through the cybernetics lab.
Would we?
I think the cybernetics lab was in between them.
So
Yeah, grav shoots work that way, not that way. So
Maybe we just hit the antiquities and then bounce.
The storage area is where the crates of cybernetic parts are.
Those are only worth a couple of thousand, so. But Spanners would be so happy if we got them.
You have lots of
How
light
about-
points. There might be more in there. Not cybernetic crates, but there might be more stuff in the storage area. If you can think of anything specific that you were looking for. Sorry, Andrew.
Oren's keen to go to the weapons. He's just got a really bad feeling about this whole thing.
No.
Would anybody like to go to the weapons and work their way back up while you search for antiquities?
I think we should stick together. Weapons first. We'll come back up. Let's do it.
we'll just stick to the original plan. Cool.
So we all float down / climb down all the way down until it gets to the level that corresponds with weapons. And Jurassic's going to help us, everyone here. He's going to stop at the door and then catch everybody on their grav chutes and just pull them into the side. And you have a closed door in front of you.
Knock, knock.
Hello. It will require to be opened, like you did upstairs.
Can we see through it?
No. Okay. So Jurassic opens up the door, which oddly opens very quietly, and you can see onto a very large open floor. You've got a range over to the left with some dummy targets set up and clearly a firing range. And there's just tables and racks and bits and pieces all over the room that you can see in the low light. Obviously, you've got the emergency lighting on, so there's the lights on the floor which are leading everybody to the elevators or the stairs. And then there's a hand raised by Jurassic.
Jurassic as a Transdotion has infrared vision.
Okay.
Does he see anything extra?
He can see everything in red. Now he can just see a little bit clearer than what the other guys can see. So obviously they can just see sort of tables and stations. You can clearly see that there's parts or weapons and things on top of stuff.
Yeah,
but
but he doesn't see
nothing-
like 100 little things underneath tables. And
No.
thank you very much.
Right, we get looking. We all know what weapons look like. Let's find some. Anything valuable.
Is that a question to me?
And I make a perception check.
Yeah, if you're all splitting up, you can all do perception checks.
Well, we're splitting up, but staying together.
If we're separating apart in this room to search in different areas,
You're close by each other, but you're just separating enough to look in different sections of the room. Can I have hard perceptions for everybody? Nick, you may have a blue.
Can I also have a blue?
What, because you are blue?
No, because I can also see in.
Then yes, you can. Yeah.
my perception is very, very bad.
Success!
Odd is 3, right?
I found
Yeah.
Atlantis.
What's the black die for, Andrew?
I thought you said it was. Oh, I thought
It
you
doesn't
said
matter.
a black die.
It was blank anyway, so it's fine. Right, I'm going to do it in reverse order. So, Remix, you go off to the right-hand side, the closest tables, and start to look around. And you find a couple of like weapons, and you think, well, I'm not really sure what they do, but they don't look like the conventional blaster. What you find is a disruptor pistol.
Oh,
Oh,
sexy.
yeah. Just close that for a second. I will get you the page in the book. Who was next? Jurassic. There is so many things of death in this room.
There's guns and stuff, and he doesn't do that.
You were very excited about all the weapons of death and got distracted that you didn't find anything in particular that you thought was going to be useful. But there's lots of shiny things. Page 11.
I've got it.
Okay.
I got it. Thank you.
next is Andrew. Andrew, you spend a little bit of time over to the side, and you find a large rifle that kind of looks like. Who had the Tangle guns? Who saw the Tangle guns before, which you used for the Rancor? I don't think Orin was on that mission. It looks like it fires electrified nets, Andrew. It's called a Tangle Gun 7 for the purposes of finding the statistics online. Thaddeus, you find a treasure trove. You find some EMP grenades. However, in your...
How many?
1, 2, 3. I gave you 1
3.
for each success after the first one.
Okay, I hand them out.
Not yet, you don't. So
Oh, shit.
as you pick up the grenades, you kind of just knock something that makes a large clattering noise, and then out of your vision, you see something move in the gun range, and it's slightly larger than the little thing that you've seen. And it looks up, and you just see the red eyes turn onto your direction before it screams. And we roll,
Nice.
And we roll initiative.
Nice.
So cool for everybody. For your purposes of size comparison, this one looks more human-sized.
Oh, fuck. Cool in the gang. Oh, yes. This is Thaddeus's jam.
Paper.
This is how I roll cool,
That's
guys.
disgusting, Andrew.
It's fucking amazing.
But for cool.
PC1.
Cool.
Cool.
Well,
Not bad for 1 green.
everybody's going first.
Body senses had been tingling.
So, obviously, Ross had seen this sort of humanoid droidy thing stand up in the corner, and then it screamed, and immediately everybody focuses on the corner, and you see this figure in the low light shadow, and you get to go first. Whoever wants to go first.
Ross, go. You saw it.
From Ross's range, it's probably medium range.
That's fine. I'll go first. I burn it with fire.
Okay.
I need to roll something for that. I don't just get to declare that I burn it with fire and win the day.
I kill it. I shoot with a flamethrower and kill it.
It's totally
It's
dead.
dead. Yeah.
So medium range is 2, right?
Medium range is 2.
Pew pew.
That's a very strange flamethrower. I've also scrolled down so I can't see the damage. Okay, what you got coming at me?
A stream of flame. 12 damage. And I've got to check now. There's burn on it too. Give me a second. 12 damage. Burn 4.
Okay.
So for the next 4 rounds?
Yep.
I've forgotten how it works.
Oh, Ross.
Can't remember what burn means.
It's the amount of, isn't it the amount of numbers after the burn? Not the amount of numbers, the number after the burn.
Weapons base damage for a number of rounds equal to the rating.
Okay, so it takes 10 damage every turn that it's on fire.
Okay, no problem.
Okay, so for the next 4 rounds, it'll take 10 every time.
Okay.
And the blast did not activate.
PC2.
Can I shoot the tangle gun?
Sure. Have you got the stats?
Yeah. I assume it's just the one in the weapons list.
That's it.
It is a light, right?
Sorry.
It's a light gun.
Is it light? I don't think so.
Is it a range light or range heavy?
Bear with me.
It should stay on the Tangle gun 7 stats.
Oh, ranged heavy. Sorry, I need to change. Okay. That's not a yellow. That's green. And how difficult?
Average from the direction, distance. Sorry. No one's in short range. There's a 2. Nice.
Nice.
So you fired your tangle gun. It does 1 damage as it, 3 damage as it connects with the droid, and then it makes it all wrapped up in a net. Well, it's not a net actually. It's like a. Do you know the Incredibles? You seen the Incredibles where Mr. Incredibles goes into the secret lair and gets shot with those balls? That's kind of how I imagine the description of this, rather than actually a net. But yeah, so it kind of like gets all like foamy stuff all over him. Okay, who's next? So 2 melee guys next.
Mm-hmm. Do you want it, Nick?
I was going to say I'll pay attention to the room, but seeing as everyone's shooting this thing, Tricycle step up onto the range, and one of his cybernetic arms will come down, glow red, and project flames. This is going to be fucking awful because he is really not good at this, but it's a laugh. He misses. But one of his arms comes down and it's basically got a flame projector on it, so it just comes down, aims at, and just shoots a load down the range.
Shoots a load.
Splatters everywhere, but it misses its target.
No worries. And Richard, you.
Oh, right. I've got to use a gun for once, haven't I? For fun. Use a gun for fun. Everyone else is shooting at the range. Maybe Remix thinks, oh, I'll try out this weapon I've just found, find out what it is, because you won't know from looking. So he's going to aim and shoot, and it will help us to identify what it is. So it's ranged light, so I've only got 2 greens for it, and that's going to be 2 purple to shoot it,
That's
is
the
it?
one.
No blues, no blacks.
You can get a blue from Nick's advantage.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
Have that.
I'll take that.
Have that.
Take it.
We've forgotten how to say.
Oh no! Well, it's unsurprising.
And Tressick will turn to Remix and go, yeah, I don't much like these ranged weapons. They're a bit shit, aren't they?
Yeah, rubbish. For pussies. I like to see the whites of their eyes.
Yeah, much like to get in close and personal.
So, as the flames have come in from Thaddeus, and some more flames have come in, and a disruptor blast has come in, and these tangle things have come in, this droid gives out a huge scream, louder than you heard the smaller one do earlier, and it echoes all around the room. And just in that split second after it ends, you hear scuttering and things start to move. And then out of the flames, as Thaddeus is projecting after the scream, a blaster bolt comes right back at him. It may not hit him, but it's going to right back at him.
I have 2 range defense.
Okay, sir. Two. Chow! Ah, man. Okay, so this blaster bolt comes straight back at you. What it's going to do is force you into cover, and force a black die on your next check as well. Let's just see if I can do it specifically with 4. One moment.
What is a disruptor pistol like? Is that the one that goes blom and it's like a green discs that fly out the?
Yeah, that's actually stun, isn't it? Like that bluey thing. I'm not sure what it looks like when it.
I'm not sure if we've seen one in game. Because it itemizes, doesn't it? Dan, don't forget our house roll. You can turn 4 advantages into a success.
Yes, I won't do it for this turn. I'll do it for next one because I've already said it.
Oh, this is a.
Sorry, go on, Andrew.
Sorry, I was just saying this is a very rare gun.
Tangle gun.
No, the disruptor pistol.
Yeah, they are. Yeah.
Oh, it's the one that disintegrates.
Yeah.
Mando's got one.
That's it. I'm going to force
Yeah, he's got a
you
rifle, isn't he?
prone, Ross, with that by spending 3. I'm going to force you to fall over in your dodging.
Duck out the way.
Yeah, although you're in flame projector position, aren't you?
Yeah.
So I just imagine you
I just
backwards.
lie flat. No, the hands and legs just go out. Face plant.
That's it. Okay. So, and then beginning of his turn, he takes damage as well, doesn't he, for the flame?
Does he take it at the beginning? I don't know. That's
It's going to be it's going to go to the top of the round. So let's say he takes it at the top of the round. That makes it easier. He's still enveloped in flame and screaming and standing. Yeah. Top of the round for PCs.
someone else can take it.
Or in. See if I can finish it off, I reckon.
Yeah, I'll need to switch to something else, won't I? Sorry, I'll see what other weapons I have. I think I have a light blaster pistol, so I will use that. And that will be ranged light difficulty.
Average still if you haven't moved. Nice.
Fifth one advanced.
What's your damage?
5, it says.
So 6. Okay. It takes it like a champ.
You need a better weapon, or
Like a
Maybe a
disruptor
disruptor
pistol. I'm thinking, when this battle's over, Remix is going to bequeath it to him.
Okay. Are you moving or anything, Andrew? Or are you done?
I'll take cover.
Take cover. Okay, good idea. Over to the next PC slot.
You can give it to him as a. Hang on. You can bequeath him, go at him as an incidental action. I was going to say you can give it to him as a minor, but that sounds
Does that sound right?
incorrect. Yeah. I've got another arm. I've got a different piece of arm shenanigan. If I take this, the other arm comes down. Maybe the bottom ones. I've not decided yet. And glows red, but just from the tip. And a little laser beam shoots out.
And you take a blue from me, I think. If I hand over my advantage.
Superb. I'll also aim because I've not moved, so thank you very much. I might actually hit this time. These ranged weapons are shit. Basically, the other one's a laser cutter. So he's tried flame, it's not worked. He's tried pinpoint laser, and it's in the flame somewhere or some shit.
Duck it in a second and go punch it in the face.
he just sighs and pulls his sword out.
Okay, next PC. You're all first.
Thaddeus still gets a turn, right? Thaddeus can get up.
yeah.
Do you want to go next, Ross?
I'm happy for you to go.
Okay. Remix will toss Orin the disruptor pistol and say, I think you could use this. And kind of like slide it along to him along the ground. And then he's going to force leap at the droid with his vibro blade. Not force leap. Force leap towards the droid with his vibro blade and come down with a big swing to try and finish it off that way. If I may.
Yep, you can.
Do you want me to roll for the force jump?
Yeah, because I think it makes a difference on your old angry remix or
yeah, true. Remix. Yeah. Difficulty?
Average. I think it looks cool when you jump across stuff.
Oh, he's an angel flying through the sky.
Okay.
He leaps across. And 2 purple for a melee attack.
Yep. Oh, he's got 2 black for melee defense. Which I forgot to add.
Isn't it 1 purple for a melee?
2 for engaged. 1 for sure. I forgot to add my range defense on earlier for being shot at as well. Yeah, but
And then I get 2 blues for accurate. So it's this. Ooh.
so, as Nick reminded us, we can turn 4 advantages into a success.
Cool.
That's our house rule, not a general rule.
Nice. Well, then it's a single flat hit of 6 damage.
Yeah, and don't you have Pierce?
Yes. 6 damage, Pierce 2.
Pierce 2. Okay.
Yes.
So as your swing comes down, it's a mighty swing on a big jump. You see the blade sink into like the jelly, and it cuts into part of the cybernetics. But as you pull it back out, you kind of see the cybernetics. This is thematically, by the way, just kind of quickly knit together again. Not the jelly, but just the cybernetics. So imagine if it was his arm or whatever, and it was like, oh, it's useless, and it's like, and it's kind of back into spot. Who does that? What movie? That's Guardians of the Galaxy woman, Karen.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she just flicks.
Nebula.
Yeah. Karen Gillian.
That's just thematically. It doesn't look like it gained any hit points or anything, but it just like clear space. Okay. So this thing is on fire still, taking damage at the beginning of the round, but it's his guy's turn. So
I've never turned.
Sorry, Ross, Bakerman, carry on.
I'm just gonna blow fire at it again. So I will use my move to stand up, so that I don't look completely idiotic, flying flat face first on the floor. And
You need to add 1 black in, please, for range defense. I forgot to add in last time.
sure. And can I add 1 blue if I take aim?
No, because you have to.
Or did I use? Yeah,
You
I
can
used
spend 2 strain to aim.
Correct.
Nah, fuck
Also, did you give them?
Also, Remix is standing right there too.
I leapt to
What do
the
you
far
want for
side
remix
of him.
So you use him as a shield, eh?
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. All right, I'll accept that argument. Okay, Russ, what you got?
12 damage and a crit, and it's a vicious. So vicious means I add 10 to the roll, right?
Yeah, per rating.
So ship crit with a modifier of 10. 80. Oh, not ship crit. What the hell? Sorry.
That's okay.
So-
I'll
I
take
should have
that.
clicked.
The space station starts flickering.
Yeah, nice. No thanks.
What? Why don't you use 80 still as your actual roll, and we'll just quickly look it up at the crit table.
It's up to
Which
Dan.
Dan?
I don't mind just re-rolling it.
Overpowered. The target leaves himself open, and the attacker may immediately attempt another 3 attacking. No, I'll take the new roll.
Yeah,
you can
head ringer.
You can take 80 if you want from the other stuff, but you must use the same pool for the roll, dice pool.
Yep, that's fine. Just 2 of those. 1.
I should
How
have
many
imposed
blacks?
more
1.
blacks for Rivix being close by.
No, there's nothing
My
about
brain-
flamethrowers needing more blacks.
Remember, it's plus 20 now because you've already crit once.
Great.
Oh no,
If I
if you
crit.
crit, yeah.
This is still the
that'll
same
be
target,
11
right?
damage.
Same
Yeah,
target,
still
yeah.
the same target.
So,
So
12
is he not
Not
ensnared?
He is ensnared, yeah.
Okay.
So it means he can't move. That's the.
So don't I get a blue for him being ensnared?
I'm already letting you get away with not adding blacks for Rimmock standing on the other side of him. So no, I'm not going to give it to you.
Okay.
So it's another 12.
11 more damage. 11.
No problem. Okay, this thing looks strange. Rimmock's being close up to it, sees the kind of jelly bubble, and it's on fire in places, but this cybernetic thing is still up and looking very angry. So angry.
Taking a fuck ton of damage.
Mm-hmm. So angry at being chopped that it turns around and whoosh, that's Remix. That's attack you.
Knew that was coming.
Why not? Why not?
What I get for getting in. I mean, it's entangled. I could have just kept my distance.
Yeah,
Mind
so
you, it can shoot us. So.
It can. So you've got 2 melee defense. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. problem. Ooh, I don't want to push this button. Uh-oh. It hit.
Parry. I'm going to parry and reduce the damage in exchange for strain, because this is going to hurt, isn't it?
It's going to hit you for 11 with that roll.
Okay, so parry, when hit by melee attack, suffer 3 strain to reduce damage by 2 plus ranks and parry. I got 2 ranks, so it's 3 strain for 3 damage, basically.
Don't
So
forget your
let's
soak.
do soak first. 11 damage, you say?
Yep.
Minus 5 soak down to 6. And then I can take that down to 3 damage and 3 soak.
Correct. 3 strain, 3 damage is what you meant. You said so.
Yeah, that is what I meant, sorry.
Yeah. All the while, this thing is screaming like it was done before. And at the top of the round, again, you hear more starting to come from other places.
And it takes 10 damage from the fire,
And it
from
takes
being
10
on
damage.
fire.
That's right, thank you. So now it's taking that 10 damage from being on fire. Richard being close up, so Remix being close up. You can see it's kind of seems to be weakening. Maybe it's not moving, or it's instead, so it's not walking, but maybe its movements have become a bit more jittery. Over to you guys at the top.
Fuck me, this thing's got a lot of health. Go, Remix. You're right there in its face. Chop its head off.
Wow. That is.
Could you quickly roll 2 black, please, for melee defense?
Yeah. Can I read you the whole thing?
No, just roll the 2 blacks. Unless you want to roll the whole thing again. It's your choice.
Yes.
Go on then.
Result. It got better.
Okay.
It's a lot of crits.
It is. This is going to be good. So 6 damage. I can crit with 2 advantages
So 6
because I
damage.
upgraded its thing. So 6 damage, and then all the crits.
So
Because it's
So-
taken a crit from me, does
Yes.
it get an extra 10 from Richard?
The crit rating stays on the
The
character,
person.
so that also applies for players, by the way.
Yeah.
So crit number 1.
is that,
What's your vicious modifier? Have you got any vicious?
Yeah, vicious 1, so that's plus 10, right?
yeah,
Plus 1 for the crit that's already there, so that's actually 55.
So 55 would be fearsome wound. The target increases the difficulty of all presence and willpower checks by 1 to the end of the encounter.
Do the next roll
do
with plus
2.
30. Because it
Cool.
had a crit, you have vicious, so you plus. You should. The first one should have been plus 20. The next one would be plus 30.
Now it's plus
etc.
13. Now.
Yes, it's just annoying that you track its crits and your vicious separately. So when there's different things attacking it, your crit modifier is different for each crit, depending on who it is.
So it's also hamstrung, and then I get to do 1 more with plus 40.
Yeah.
Power word. The target leaves himself open, and the attacker may immediately attempt another free attack against him using the exact same pool as the original attack. Yeah, that's one.
Do it.
Another 6 damage and another crit. So plus 50 this time.
Yep.
Jeez.
Amazing, Richard.
Blind. Target can no longer see. Upgrade the difficulty of all checks twice. Upgrade the difficulty of perception and vigilance checks 3 times.
This kind of suits very nicely as you strike at it a second time with your overpowering strike and catch it in where its head would be and chop off its what you think would be its processing head unit. And then the whole thing sort of just crumbles and the cybernetic body falls down and the jelly starts to then and it's bubbling because it's on fire.
Burn.
We shall immediately run to the others and say, we need to get out of here.
Yeah.
I was trying to say at the top. Come on, glad you've come around. As he picks up the disruptor pistol and puts it in his pocket.
Thaddeus will give
Yeah,
out. Thaddeus will give an EMP grenade to Oren. You two don't seem very good with anything ranged, so I'll keep the other two EMP grenades for myself.
Okay. And we're going to plan your escape next week. Dun, dun, dun. Who knew?
This is cool, Dan. Thank you.